We have to, firstly, the first thing we need to start doing is being honest about our belief systems. Particularly honest about whether our belief systems are loving or unloving. All right? And this gets down to how do we tell, or how can we allow any belief system to enter our soul? Because obviously what I've defined up till now is that all these belief systems, a lot of them are entering us because of all of these emotional errors that we have, and this allows all these belief systems. So in the end, how do I know what's true and what's not? Right? And the answer is really quite simple. The truth is always loving. So a belief system that's loving in all its aspects will be more harmonious with truth than a belief system that is unloving in all of its aspects. And the more love there is in the belief system, the more truth there must also be in the belief system. Now let's put this back into play with the belief system of reincarnation for a moment. Right. Belief system of reincarnation, basically as it's been presented in the past, has been that I live a certain life on earth of a certain time, I pass into the spirit world, I have this sort of life review process, and then I revisit earth again to actually work through the karma of the previous life. And I can't work through the karma of the previous life in the spirit world, I must work through the karma, or the damage, if you like, of what you've done in the past through the earth experience. But the only problem is that I can't remember my previous experience. Now, does this sound like a loving process to you? That you're being forced to come back down to earth to work through your previous experience's karma, but the only trouble is you can't remember the previous experience in its entirety to know what the karma was. Right? Now, how does that feel to you? Doesn't that feel unfair? Does that feel loving? Not really, does it? It feels unfair to us. I could understand the creation of a system that actually, where you remember your previous life and then you're asked to work through the karma of it. You could understand that, couldn't you? More than you could understand that you can't remember your previous life and then you have to work through the karma of what you can't remember. And then there's all these things, oh, we only can't remember because that we try to forget. Well, that to a degree is true. There's a truth in that from the soul level, but like many of you have tried with all of your heart to remember all of your previous life's karma and have never discovered it. And in fact, when you think about it, I only remember 1 or 2 or 3 events of my previous life, like the important events, like where I was born perhaps, where I lived, and also probably how I died. But what about all the damage I did in between? I can't remember that. I can't remember, what actually happened, all of that. Even though you try your hardest, and you might even go to therapists, a past life therapist, after past life therapist, still can't find it. Now, is it loving for somebody to create a system that actually creates a lot of difficulty for you in terms of discovery of your own truth about yourself? Now, you'd have to start considering, is this belief really loving? So what we would do then, what we're able to do inside of our soul, is we're able, just by asking the question, is this belief really, really loving, or is it just a little bit loving, or is it not loving at all? In that way, we're able to easily differentiate between whether we should allow this belief to enter us emotionally or not. Can you see that? Just by asking that one question, is this belief loving? Now, the only problem with that is our beliefs of love are distorted. So what do we do with that? And that's where our emotions come to play. You see, if we have understand one basic truth, and you can test this truth as well, and the basic truth is this: if I feel all of my emotions, I will in the end come to discover the truth. But I have to be diligent in feeling all of my emotions. right? Now, the problem is that most of us have lots of emotions of fear that cover over our real emotions. So that means also we're going to have to feel all of our fears as well before we're going to be able to discover truth. And if you can just, even if we can say to anybody, as long as we feel all of our emotions, we will in the end come to discover truth, people will have no trouble determining in the end what the truth is about any single subject that you could present to them. Scientific, so any physical, chemical subject you could present to them, any medical subject you can present to them, all of these subjects will all be covered by what is going on inside regarding love. Does that make sense? As long as we feel all of our emotions, we will come to discover the truth about every single subject that we ask the question of.